at that time, we'll get to take a look at the papers. We look at the headlines, the major stories. We get analysis. We get your contributions as well. This is Freshly Pressed on the Smooth Breakfast. This is Smooth 98.1. You love music, love live station on a Monday morning. Yes, it is 31 minutes past 7 a.m. on the 30th day of June 2025. Final day in the month of June. It's great to have you join us for a brand new week. My name is Ayokunmi, and it's going to be another interesting morning. Couple of stories that we're going to be talking about, sinking our teeth into really, and joining me to actually do all that, give us some perspective, break it all down for us. Mr. C and AB Bozimo are with me this morning. AB, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Ayo. Good morning, Mr. C, and good morning to all of the wonderful listeners out there. May you thrive, whether in Lagos, Abuja, London, or Turks and Caicos, wherever the president is going.
Amen to that.
Good morning, Alan. Good morning. Good
St.
morning.
Lucia.
Good morning, the rest of the world. Yes, the first half of the year ends today. Let's be grateful we're still alive because with the living comes hope and hope springs eternal. And let's look forward to a rewarding, fruitful, profitable, and profiteering second half of the year.
Mm. Yes, indeed. Very wise words to start the show this morning. Before we dive into anything further, just to let you know how you can join us, WhatsApp, it's one platform, 0809 That is the WhatsApp number. To join us on YouTube, we're streaming live there at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Mr. C, let's dive into the Punch newspaper. Just going straight for the jugular here. This has to do with Ganduje, the APC, and everything in between. Now, some loyalists of the immediate past national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, have decried his resignation, saying it will not augur well for the party. Now, this is just as a group in the North Central demanded that the party chairmanship be zoned to the region. As it was reported that Ganduje resigned his position on Friday. Now, the spokesperson for the APC, Felix Moka, in a statement noted that the ex-governor resigned on health grounds. However, the Sunday Punch gathered that Ganduje resigned amid reports of the planned defection of his political rival, Rabiu Kokonso, to the APC. Looks like ruckus is not limited to the PDP and other parties only. But at the end of the day, Mr. C, why should I, as every Nigerian, really care about what's going on within the ranks of the APC?
Actually, thank you, Ayu. So we shouldn't actually care because we've been utterly incompetent, utterly hopeless over the past 10 years. Now, what it is, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen listening to the show, scheming for 2027 has already started. Now, there are talks in certain corridors, in certain quarters, that the current president, as is wont, his custom and tradition, is going to pick another running mate for 2027. And there's pressure on him at the moment to pick that candidate from the Northwest. Now, incidentally, Mr. Ganduje is from the Northwest. But initially, the position of party chairman in the APC was zoned to the North Central. Then the former chairman and Senator Adamu left the office. I can't readily recall why he had to leave. And Mr. Ganduje was put in there as a favor to the current president. Now, as it stands, there are efforts in play to return the post of national chairman to the North Central. What does that then mean? That means with regards to the permutations for 2027, he can then pick someone from the Northwest on the basis that they're not holding any office, any significant office in the APC. Now, Mr. Ganduje is said to have resigned on health grounds. We understand from certain confidential quarters that is not correct. He's said to have resigned to attend to pressing personal matters. That is equally not correct. He was given an ultimatum, we understand, to leave by end of business today, and he chose to do it on Friday. So the APC has a point. There's an interim guy, the deputy chairman from the North, but there's suggestions that they will give it to Senator Al Makura or the current SGF. Well, it's all up in the air. The person who should make the final decision is in St. Lucia as we speak, and there's no indication, no signs that we may get any decision on that this week. But it's just interesting to note what the body language, the disposition of the APC is at a time when there have been senseless killings, unfortunately, of Nigerian citizens in Benue, in Plateau, and in other parts of the country. The president believes this is the best time to travel out of the country. The ABC believes this is the best time to resolve issues around 2027. And it lines up perfectly with what I've continued to say on the show, that once the third year starts, real politicking starts, governance is pushed into the shadows, and we will be lucky if we get any sort of form of governance up until 2027. And sadly, they're being proven right on a daily basis. It's truly painful, it's truly saddening, but it is what it is. I'm not speaking anymore on the APC. Whatever they want to do, that's their business.
All right, thank you for sharing those thoughts there, Mr. C. Let's get your thoughts as well. WhatsApp is 08094440981. Let us know your, should I say, perspectives on the issues that we'll be discussing this morning. And AB, you wanted to throw something in there?
I just want to say it's really fascinating to see the machinations, the political, maneuvering going on. And it's just easy to contrast it with the lack of passion, concern, or energy when it comes to very real security related things in a lot of these regions. Just like Mr. C said, this is all about politics, and the politics seems completely divorced from the lives and well-being of ordinary people in either those zones or even, frankly, across the country.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that's just one story. We'll be touching more on issues of governance or lack of as the show goes on. But before we dive into any of that one, AB, let's talk about power here. We'll take a walk into the Daily Post. Talk about
Political
the
or the other kind of power?
electrical power is what I'm referring to at this point. We'll talk about political power later on, but for now, let's talk about electrical power. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has announced that it has energized two newly installed power transformers at its 330, 132, 33 kilovolt Bringing Kebbi transmission substation in Kebbi State. The spokesperson for TCN, Indidimba, made this known in a statement issued on Sunday. According to her, the 100 megavolt amperes MVA and 150 MVA transformers were energized at 1:18 p.m. and 2:56 p.m. respectively on Friday, that's June 27, 2025. And he stated that the installation of the additional transformers had increased the substation's capacity from 300 MVA to 450 MVA. So as a result, the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company now has an additional 120 megawatts of bulk power distribution to its customers across Kebbi, Sokoto, and the surrounding areas as well. Now, this development also, interestingly, enables TCN to maintain normal bulk power supply to Niamey in Niger Republic as well. AD.
Right. First of all, any enhancement of the electricity capacity in Nigeria should be seen as welcome. We barely scratched the surface. As a matter of fact, in St. Lucia, they have about an installed capacity of 80 megawatts, and their peak demand is 60. So clearly they have a surplus there. It would have been very nice to have us targeting surpluses in Nigeria, but at roughly 5,000 megawatts in Nigeria, we are far, far, far below what is needed for steady power supply in Nigeria. And indeed, we are certainly much inferior to someone like South Africa that I think ranges between 40,000 to 60,000 megawatts. That said, it's intriguing to me that this injection of power allows us improve power to Kebbi, Sokoto, and so on, and also maintain power to Niamey, Niger Republic. I think there's an agreement that Niger Republic will not put a dam on the River Niger because of our hydropower station in hydropower station along the Niger River. So I think that's why we always supply them, and it's very good to honor agreements. My question is there any part of this installation that had a domestic component to it. We have a very well-staffed Nigerian content management and development board, where I think part of what should go on should always be to see how we can enhance Nigerian participation, Nigerian innovation, and Nigerian enhancement of all of these. Because at the end of the day, if all of these things are wholly imported, maintenance will always be given to outsiders. Nigerian ecosystem will not enhance, will not improve. But it's good to hear this. I'd love to know that, when I hear these stories, sadly, one of the things that comes to my mind is the same announcement we have about NNPC we have done, and then in 15 minutes or 15 months later, it's dead. I hope and pray that this is a different thing where this increase in capacity will be sustained. Second part, is the cost of the electricity affordable? So that is the second part of the equation that must be investigated. You can have the power. If nobody can afford it, it will be quote unquote going to waste. The one thing that's overall I find very sad about this story is this national grid. The national grid is an aberration. The national grid is the biggest problem of Nigeria. It should be regional. And lastly, one thing that the president who is currently in St. Lucia did early was make a law that allowed liberalization of energy. Out of 36 states and the federal capital, only 7 states have taken it upon themselves to, handle the electricity affairs. What are the rest of the governors doing? I don't know. But I think we have to go down to that subnational level so that each state says, I want my people to have better electricity, and then they invest in that. At the end of the day, we'll build up a capacity much better that way. But, this is a good story with those caveats.
Good story with those caveats. I mean, a step in the right direction, no matter how small, is still a good step regardless. So let us see if further steps actually will be taken, further huge steps, whether they'll be taken or not. And yeah, a better Nigeria is really what everyone is after at the end of the day. Let's see how it all plays out. All right, Mr. C, let's step back in here, and we're walking into the Guardian. This one is talking about, of course, Peter Obi and President Tinubu and St. Lucia as well. I mean, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidates. He has criticized President Bola Tinubu over his visit to St. Lucia, describing the trip as ill-timed and insensitive, given the deepening hardship, insecurity, and natural disasters afflicting Nigeria. Tinubu's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, had announced on Friday that the president would embark on a state visit to the Caribbean nation on Saturday as part of efforts to deepen Nigeria's diplomatic engagement with the region and promote South-South cooperation. The visit, Ononuga said, will be followed by Tinubu's participation in the 17th BRICS summit in Brazil. Meanwhile, it has been said that, of course, this trip is to establish diplomatic relations between Nigeria and St. Lucia. And I can see Mr. C sniggering in the studio. It seems like you have some things to talk about where this is concerned, Mr. C. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ayo. I'm embarrassed by the nonsense that this statement purports to be. Now, let's put this in proper context for everyone to listen to. And I pray that everyone can comprehend what I'm saying. St. Lucia, with all due respect to it, is an inconsequential stakeholder. And I say that with every sense of respect. The last African leader to visit St. Lucia was the late Nelson Mandela in 1998. There is a reason why African leaders are not making a beeline for St. Lucia. Now, listen to one of the reasons given for the trip. We want to establish diplomatic relations with them. And for that reason, a sitting president of Nigeria gets up and leaves for an island nation. Let it make sense. Mr. Obi is right. The timing of this visit is all shades of wrong. You still haven't visited Yelwata. The excuse that was given by your handlers was the road was flooded. If the road was properly constructed, it was properly designed, properly executed, will the road be flooded? Will there not be outlets for the water to drain into culverts that would end up in some lagoon or body of water? Could you not take a helicopter ride to Yawata if your retinue of security officials couldn't drive by road? It's for you to be compassionate. Now, incidentally, he's in St. Lucia for 7 days, but we've been given an itinerary for 2 days. He's visiting a college. They're going to host a reception for the Nigerian community. All of these events are neither here nor there. These are events for tourists, not for a sitting president. Now, fortunately, we've been spared the drivel that is, oh, he's going to look for investments. We're not being told any of that nonsense this time. For the other 5 days in between his trip to the BRICS summit, what exactly is he doing? Remember, he had an extended holiday for Salah, before Salah, into Salah. Now, guess what? The BRICS summit is for the following major countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China. Right? Guess what? The Chinese leader is not going to be there. The Russian leader is not going to be there. He's attending by video teleconference. What exactly is the current president going to do at the BRICS summit? Is he addressing anyone?
What's the benefit to Nigerians at the end of the day?
It's a big question what the benefit is, since these two guys are not going to be there. Who is he talking to? In 2023, we were regaled with stories of a $12 billion investment coming from India. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2025. Any word of investment? It's complete crickets. All this junketing does not help Nigeria. How has it impacted the Nigerian economy? I saw some graph from one of the online papers, and it showed the level of investment each year from 2014 to date. Guess which years had the smallest amount?
Your guess is as good as mine.
So yes, it's ill-timed. You would want to think that with all the problems we have here, from hardship to intense poverty to crazy insecurity, that the president will actually sit on the ground and provide a calming presence. But no, he's outside the country. And it begs the question, is he really that inconsiderate, or is this a forced trip? Because I shudder to think that he can be that inconsiderate. But many questions arise. I'm pretty certain nothing's coming out of this St. Lucia junket. This St. Lucia junket appears to be a cover for something else. There is no basis for this visit. And if you truly wanted to establish foreign relations, why not send your foreign affairs minister? Why do you have to go? You have a vice president, send him. Why do you have to be there yourself? Are you suggesting the St. Lucian economy is bigger than that of Nigeria's economy? Or they have the power to radically transform Nigeria's economy? Let it make sense.
You know what? We'll Maybe just a moment. We'll talk about that a whole lot more at 9 o'clock on Lagos Talk. Abi, let me get your own perspective on this matter, please.
I just want to say that an elementary Google search will reveal that the entire population of St. Lucia as of 2023 was 179,285. That would suggest to me that the Republic of Ojuelegba or the Republic of Oshodi actually has more economic value to Nigeria's economy than St. Lucia. Like Mr. C said, this trip has absolutely no perceptible merits for Nigeria. If there are merits for the individual traveling and the coterie of hangers-on, perhaps that's a different discussion. But 180,000 people as a country that has 80 megawatts as the electricity, there are companies in Agidingbi that have more electricity capacity installed there. Because I'm talking about my earlier story. What on earth can St. Lucia do to enhance? And again, I'm not downplaying any nation. No, 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 no. I'm saying for a president. You know what a presidential movement is? Even you, Mr. C, to get up and move from your house, it costs X. Imagine what it takes for a president to move. Pre-security, this, that, private jets and all that. We are going to St. Lucia. You should have taken off in Abuja and landed under Oshodi Bridge. I believe you'd have got more Nigerian value for that trip. Preposterous.
Let me take a couple of messages on WhatsApp. This is Philip Japo in Akomojo. He says the president and his handlers are into meaningless theatrics and waste of scarce resources by his 7-day visit to St. Lucia. Nigeria is the supposed giant of Africa, and it is the government of St. Lucia that should be seeking relevance by coming to visit us. There's no benefit to Nigeria from St. Lucia that I can actually think of. All right, this is Egono says, complete crackers. Mr. C is killing me with sarcasm. Hey, I live it every single day. It's a beautiful thing to behold, a beautiful sight to actually behold. Ibrahim Zakari says, please, please cut Mr. President some slack. The problems of the country he swore to govern are overwhelming him. Therefore, he needs to go to St. Lucia and cool off. He told us he was going to continue where his predecessor stopped. Bagam. Well, I mean, he did say that he was going to. I mean, he did. I didn't say it. He said it. So it's on record.
In fairness.
Anyways,
in fairness to him.
In fairness to him. All right, AB, let's step into the Premium Times newspaper here. And let's talk about our very good friends at Sarah. They're in the news as usual. That's the Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, Sarah. Now, they've sent a freedom of information requests to Nigeria's 36 state governors, urging them to promptly account for the spending of public funds in the name of security votes by the state since 29th of May 2023 to guarantee and ensure the security of life and property of Nigerian residents in their states. I'm just paraphrasing here. Now, SERP also urged the governors to urgently invite the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the ICPC, to jointly investigate, track, and monitor the spending of security votes by the state. AB, this issue of security votes has been raging back and forth, especially as the security or insecurity rages on in the land, and questions have been asked. What exactly are your security votes actually being used for? And SERAP is raising the issue and asking for some level of accountability.
Further, in fairness to SERAP, they are very responsibly, as part of this request, said they do not expect intricate details because they understand that security in and of itself could be a bit confidential. However, backed by a certain Supreme Court ruling, they state correctly that there is no part of public funding that must be seen to be out of the reach of the public for whom this funding is supposed to be provided. And they're asking, when we look at Nigeria today, our security situation is declining very, very quickly. People are dying by the drove. Over weeks, months, we're hearing of tens, hundreds of people killed, murdered. What exactly is going on? I've always held that I never expect President Bola Tinubu to pick up one of these arms and run into the field. No, that is what he has people hired for. However, he is the presiding officer as a president over security. He is the one with the sole authority to hire and fire and deploy security officials. So when security is going bad, he is his desk, the box stops. And luckily, there are quotes where he has stated that much when it was Jonathan's time. But in this story, the governors too have 375 billion naira or so recently expended on security votes. And in their various states, including Governor Alia of Benue, he must have X amount. There is no security. So Serap is saying, how are you spending that money? Don't give me the gritty details, but show us the overall deployment. Let us have a sense of this money that you claim you are doing. How is it not tallying with the lives of your people in terms of security? And I think it's a very, we talk about SERAP a lot. It's a very noble thing. They will go on record as raising a lot of the issues that ought to be raised by the general society. I don't know whether they'll get a single answer, But the governors don't have a leaf to hide behind anymore because Supreme Court has ruled that they should respond to FOI requests.
Yes, indeed. Do you want to say a word or two about this particular issue where Serap is concerned?
No, Amy has covered everything brilliantly.
All right, let me take this comment from YouTube here. This is Sifri Ashi says the chief of staff is responsible for the president's itinerary. You just wonder how serious they are in that office. They are very serious. I mean, you can see that in St. Lucia. So there's a level of seriousness where that actually is concerned, serious about those sort of things. Who's talking to us on WhatsApp here? This is Sunday in Surulere. Sunday says, Nigerian leaders have a mandate to offend Nigerians per day. Subscription, 2 offenses per day for 4 years. If symptoms persist, attack your doctor. Oh my goodness, I need a good laugh. And you all are helping me with that. This is Peter, and first, like he says, please educate me. Is APC supposed to be campaigning for the next election when we're not even close to it? We're close, so 2 years, in the blink of an eye. Why is the judiciary silent on the unconstitutional practices of the president all over the place from Delta State to Lagos? I drove yesterday. There is already Tinubu's billboard for 2027. And the president is traveling to St. Lucia, waste of Nigerian resources. How did we get here? How do we get out of this mess? Tinubu, let Nigeria breathe, though. All right. I'm breathing fine to a degree. I hope. To a degree. To a degree, Mr. C is what I said. All right. Let's quickly talk about this. I will not let you go without bringing both of you very quickly. If you has a personal stake in this one, you'll understand what I mean by that in a moment. Heading into the Vanguard. Let me see. I mean, Hope had already went due to share frustration until Thursday, June 27th, when pictures of President Tinubu beaming with smiles and sandwiched by equally excited Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, and suspended Governor Sim Fubara of Rivers State emerged on various social media platforms. It was one of the several peace meetings brokered by the president to reconcile the two warring factions, led by Wike against his, in quotes, political godson Fubara. On the other hand, of course, this has led to the state of emergency in Rivers State and all the ruckus going on within the state. Now, it's been alleged that there's some conditions that have been given to Governor Fubara in order for all this to end. Well, Mr. C, doesn't this further, should I say, drive home the point that at the end of the day, it's really not about the will, the well-being, or the feelings of the people. It's a question of the interest of the parties who are involved here.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. Again, sadly, this is another episode of the maneuvering for 2027. It would appear that Mr. Tinubu does not have the support of the relevant people in the North for 2027. That would explain his recent grab, snatch, and collect moves in the South-South, where River State has fallen, and I understand the Bielsa guy is the next guy to port to the APC. Now, in all of this, he believes that by grabbing the instruments of power, his return in 27 is guaranteed. Now, in the past 24 months, the people of River State have been the real losers because no serious work has gone on. Even with this sole administrator who's been there for close to 4 months, he also has not done anything. Now, the bigger question is this. Fubara really is a huge disappointment to those who actually expected anything from him. And this is a reminder to well-meaning Nigerians. Do not put your hopes and trust in any man, let alone a Nigerian politician. You will be sorely and severely disappointed. Now, yes, conditions were placed. He cannot run in 2027.
Alleged conditions.
Has he denied it? The human being involved, he's heard it, has he denied it? So the question is that even legal? Is that lawful? Is that constitutional? If he decides to run, what's going to happen? Two, we understand the strongman of Rivers, the current strongman of Rivers, gets to nominate every candidate for the local government elections. The House of Assembly members who defected openly and back will be paid their outstanding allowances, and then supposedly it will be business as usual until 2027. Now, I feel sorry for the people of River State. I truly feel sorry for them. That all of this nonsense is going on and they're all quiet. Why can't the president declare a state of emergency in certain northern states? He knows the outcomes. He knows what the fallout or consequences will be. But really, this is really disappointing news. Fubara knows why he agreed to all of this, and to all concerned, I wish them the very best.
All right, AB, very quickly, get your word or two in. Like I said, you have a quote unquote personal stake in this, in this
One
one.
sentence. One sentence. If there's anybody that can state definitively what exactly the disagreement was about with proof, I'd be happy to quote it. None of us knows. We all suspect, but nobody knows. Similarly, the terms upon which they have supposedly agreed are not known, and how and why. The losers ultimately are the good people of River State, for whom there has been a stagnation since the beginning of this whole imbroglio. And the parties involved, did you hear at any point where the needs, concerns, or imperatives of ordinary Rivers people were being discussed? I didn't, but those of you who may have been inside the meeting may say that it was part of it. I didn't hear once where ordinary people's needs on a daily basis were part of this supposed settlement.
Let me rush through your messages as we wrap up on the show this morning. This is Tony. Tony Nisola says, "Thanks, Mr. C, for your analysis, but you failed to mention the Gilbert Chaguri connection with the St. Lucia trip. I'm not aware of any connection.
I am actually,
This,
I will verify it.
So we can't speak definitively on what we are not 110% certain about. Abayomi says, power has been decentralized, yet governors are not taking advantage of it. Discuss more about governors bringing power to their people. Go hard on the governors. Discuss more about what Serap just brought forward, which was dismissed by one of your guests weeks ago. I don't recall what exactly that is, but AB definitely referred to that aspect, talking about seven state governors who are the only ones who have jumped on that train. So, Bayomi, thank you for your message.
So before you go, how come the APC governors are not jumping in on this? All of them. If the other governors are incompetent, how are the APC governors not keen into a key policy of their man who's in power?
They're planning to, they're intending to.
The only jumping going on now in politics is from party to party. It's not from poverty to electricity, it's from party to party. Take focus on the jumping that's important now.
Adekan Yaba says the lack of capacity of the majority of the people in the community of political players in Nigeria is underrated. This is, let me see, Chayo says, Fubara has finally joined the system with terms and conditions. Interests have now aligned, and the people of Rivers are none the better for it. Don't cry for their pain. It's not your concern. Kali says, this is Kali from Ikoyi, it appears that our people have forgotten that President Tinubu's problem and our problem are not the same. The president is going to St. Lucia because he wants to and he can, not because it is of value to us. So I beg, don't think I'm too much. I remain demure and ever mindful. Let me see if I can squeeze one more in. Dopsy, I see you. I see you. Let me take Tony from Marine Beach says, I really do understand all the fuss about the journey to St. Lucia. Everybody's talking about breaking world records. And if people want us to be left out, especially with this our newly acquired aircraft, at the end of tenure, that aircraft would have touched every part of Earth, including the islands. Allow us break our own record in our own little way. I beg. All right, we need to wrap it up on the show. I've taken a little bit more time than I should have. Thank you for all the messages, and thank you so much to you, AB, Mr. C, for joining me this morning.
Thank you. The privilege and pleasure are always mine. Ade can't wait with you people in Nigeria. For those of you who are on St. Lucia Waka, enjoy.
Thank you for having me. Let's go ahead and have a productive, fruitful, and rewarding week. Let's ignore the shenanigans coming from the political class, and let's toil hard, and we will reap the fruits of our labor.
Yes, indeed.
And the second half of 2025, you are right. Second half of 2025, let's make it happen.
Yes, indeed. If you can't do St. Lucia, I heard St. Kitts and Nevis is good this time of the year. You can explore that option. Keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast here on Smooth 98.1. 8:15, we'll take a walk into the locker room, all about sports and so much more.
You are naughty.
So,